Thanks for watching Afternoon Live. If you have a high school student, there are important changes to the SAT testing system that you need to know about. Here to explain it all, we welcome the author of the Digital SAT Playbook, Dr. Shaan Patel. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Hannah. Thanks for having me.
This is a big one for high school parents. So much has changed just in the past 5 years or so. Can you tell me about how the pandemic impacted SAT testing?
Yeah, so for a long time since the pandemic, many colleges were going test optional. So the SAT and the ACT, we saw fewer and fewer parents and families taking them. But recently, there's been a huge transition back towards reinstating standardized tests. Just in the last few weeks, we saw Harvard, Yale, Brown, Dartmouth, University of Texas at Austin. So it seems like there's a new university almost every week reinstating standardized testing requirements. So it's not really optional anymore like it was in the pandemic.
Okay, and let's talk about this new digital version. How does that work? What can parents and students expect?
Yeah, so there's a monumental change happening to the SAT in 2024, which is the first time in almost 100 years the SAT is going from a paper-based exam to a digital exam. So students will now be taking it on a computer rather than on paper, as many parents probably remember the SAT exam. On top of that, there are tons of changes to the new format, question types, and content that students really need to get familiar with. It's not just the paper exam going onto a computer screen.
What will the experience be like for students? Will they still go to a testing center and log in for a couple of hours with proctors and things like that?
Yeah, so, just because it's an online test does not mean it's an at-home test. That would be really nice. Students could use ChatGPT and get all the answers correct. You still need to go into an approved testing center with a proctor. You use your own device or you use the device provided by the school, and you're going to be taking it on the College Board Secure Blue Book application, which does not allow you to have any other applications open for security purposes.
So a lot of people take and retake the SAT, maybe even a dozen times or so. That can seem super overwhelming. Is there a sweet spot for maybe a couple of times to get a good score and then move on and take some pressure off of your student?
Yeah, so I typically see students achieve their highest scores after two, three, or maximum four attempts. That's actually was my own experience when I was in high school. I scored average the first time I took it, but by the third time, I actually got a perfect score. And so I usually recommend a few attempts and don't give up after your first try.
For sure. So, and everybody has, different test prep and ways they want to study for it. But what about the actual day of the exam? Do you have any words of wisdom for those very nervous teenagers? Especially this year, it's going to be a brand new experience that their parents and teachers can't really prep them for as much.
Yeah, so I think to take away some of the test anxiety for test day, I want to just let all parents and students out there know that this new digital SAT is the most student-friendly version of the exam ever. It's only 2 hours of testing time instead of 3 hours. It's only 98 questions instead of 154 questions. You can now use a digital calculator on all the math questions. The reading passages are much shorter. There's no more obscure vocabulary. So we're already seeing lots of parents and students with great feedback for this new version of the digital SAT.
That's really encouraging. Even just fewer questions, shorter time limit, that'll make a big difference to a lot of kids. And do you think that should everybody at least plan to take the SAT, even if they're not exactly sure what their plans are after their high school education is wrapped up?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I think a lot of times we just think of the SAT as helping you with college admissions, but actually, I think that the bigger and more important reason to take the SAT is for college scholarships because you're eligible for so many more merit-based scholarships, actually billions of dollars to help reduce or eliminate your college costs when you have a high SAT score. Many colleges will offer you half tuition or full tuition scholarships. And we all know how expensive college is getting now, and student debt is such a problem in this nation. So I actually think you definitely should take it, even if you don't plan on going to the Ivy League or anything like that. You can likely get a great scholarship to a state university or junior college.
That's a great point. It's not all about admissions. You could actually save a couple of dollars in the process, too. Hey, thank you so much. It was great to learn about these big new changes this year.
Yeah, thanks, Hannah, for having me. Appreciate it.
Of course, and we'll have more information on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.